Hello, good afternoon. This afternoon I am joined by Dr. Moso Muyeme. Doctor, did I say your name correctly?
Correct, you are fine, Doc. Yes.
Right, right. And welcome to this conversation, Doctor. Where are we
Thank you.
watching you from?
I'm in Central Province currently. Yes.
Right,
In
you're in
Kaps.
Central
Yes.
Province.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So, Doctor, tell us a bit about yourself before we get started. Your background, your academic background, your work background, and also just touch on what you do currently.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Doc. I'm a lecturer and also researcher in veterinary public health at the School of Veterinary Medicine. This is at the University of Zambia in Lusaka. Apart from being a lecturer, I also am a One Health coordinator for the African Center of Excellence. This is the Center of Excellence for infectious diseases in humans and animals. We call it ACEDA. Yes. So it's one of the most important center in terms of looking at imaging and re-imaging zoonotic diseases, which looks at the key thrust are two things: science and innovation. Yes, Doc. Basically, in a nutshell, that's the main thrust of my work. Yes.
All right. So, in your study of these zoonotic diseases, basically diseases that affect animals, Um, how could you help us understand what they are? Just, to a layman's perspective, what are these things that you call zoonotic diseases?
Yes. When we are talking about zoonotic diseases, in a nutshell, we are talking about diseases and their agents which actually they come from animals and they are transmitted to humans. The primary infection is usually secreted in animals. Then a human being, either maybe through food or through contact, will end up having that disease, which is animal derived. So those diseases which circulate primarily in animals and they jump what we call a species barrier because you will find that they're in the animal species, they end up in a human population. That is what we call a zoonotic diseases. Naturally, there will be in animals, but because man maybe has gone to look for food, he ends up taking some of these animals and they end up being infected with these diseases, which primarily should have been in animals. Those are the diseases we call zoonotic. Yes, Doc.
Right.
I can
So,
maybe
so
explain two forms.
go on.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah. So currently, we have subdivided this zoonotic in two forms. We have got what we call imaging and re-imaging. The imaging are these new ones, like I can give you COVID-19, like we have said. This one came from animals. It came into human beings. Now, what will happen is that once they are primarily secreting in the animals, they enter the human circulation. We call it a primary infection. But they've got a potential also where secondary infection now starts occurring amongst the human population, maybe human to human circulation. So that's the danger. Then we've got the re-imaging. These are like Ebola, which have been there. They come, they keep on recirculating and coming back. Those are re-imaging because they're already there. Yes, sir.
Right. So now, just quickly, just for us to be able to really, really appreciate this. So, how are these diseases a danger to human health? These same
Yes,
zoonotic diseases, how are they a danger to human health?
yes. Um, the key danger comes in if a new disease comes. This is what we call maybe a novel disease. One, you'll find that it is not researched. There is no knowledge about it. We don't know how to treat that disease. We don't even have like a COVID camp. We don't have a vaccine. So we find that there is no vaccine, no treatment, no protocols, no knowledge about it. And when that hits a community, we usually call that like a naive population, a population which has never been exposed. Sometimes you find that both the morbidity, that's the disease itself, the way it causes disease, or the mortality, the deaths, can be actually be high. So this is the danger we face with when we are dealing with these zoonotics. Some of the zoonotics, especially the viral zoonosis, they've got what we call a high probability of becoming pandemics, spreading almost the entire globe. And these are the fears when you are dealing with these zoonotics. The primary thing is that they are unknown, their nature and how far they will spread. That's the danger when you are dealing with zoonotics. Yes. But to say
I
a
see.
bit, yeah, to say a bit, Doc, you find that some of these, let me give you an example of some of these viral diseases. What they will do, the danger comes in where they start mutating, they might remain into the population for a long time. And there is an issue also where once we, the humans, find a form of treatment, some of these they even end up becoming what we call getting antibiotic or drug resistance. You find that the drugs we use, they fail to start working in this. So that is one of the key dangers we have, especially viruses, because the rate of mutation is higher. Yes, Doc.
Right. Now, let's help us, demonstrate to us the link or the relationship between these zoonotic diseases and illegal bushmeat trade.
That's a very good question. Um, to demonstrate that link, like you have put the term illegal. So when you are looking at illegal bush trades, um, one of the issues which a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of factors. I don't know if I have to go slightly, if you allow me a bit into science.
Proceed.
When yes, if you go, you want to buy meat, mm, that meat should have undergone what we call meat inspection. The health inspectors, the people from Ministry of Health, sometimes local government, the veterinary people, they have to inspect that meat. Why do they do that? There are a lot of diseases which are found in that meat. Now, if an animal is snared, a lot of processes which we do to make the meat safe, to make the meat wholesome, and also to keep the meat safer from having what we call infectious diseases or other parasites. Those processes are not done. Let me just give you a scenario. Most of the meat, which because of fearing of guns, which we eat, comes from what we call snared animals. An animal is snared. When the animal is snared, it hasn't been bled. The blood is supposed to be removed so that all those other things come out. But an animal which is snared, once it is dying there, you see, from our research in the field, we've been observing quite a lot of these aspects. I'll give you a scenario where you go in the bush, when an animal is dying, especially wild animals, even domestic animals, there are what we call external parasites like ticks, fleas. These insects, do you know what they do? They will run away from the animal, because there are certain things which start building up in that carcass. Toxins start coming up. The animal start bloating. But these uh, insects which feed on the blood sucking insects, they will run away. But a human being will go get that carcass, dress it without understanding that certain buildup of certain toxic bacteria and other infectious material have built up. And that's the meat which is processed now to feed humans. It has not gone bleeding, it has not gone meat inspection, there's no quality in it. And another danger, someone will bring meat to say, oh, I've brought you buffalo. You are not sure. It can be a dog, it can be a hyena, it can be a baboon, it can be a monkey. So all these are the dangers, and these animals, they also carry certain pathogens or certain diseases which might find themselves into human beings. So these are some of the dangers, and that's where the link is. If you look at Ebola, people eat some of these bats, and that's where they get some of these outbreaks. Most of the outbreaks have been traced back to eating meat which has not gone certain meat inspection requirements. That's where the link comes in between illegal game meat, because an illegal bushmeat is what in layman I can call a moving crime scene. It's a crime scene. Our law enforcement officers, wherever they find someone with game meat and that is illegally obtained, they will be arrested. So if you are dealing with an illegal contraband, that means you are also dealing with an illegal crime scene, a mobile crime scene. So you are not assured of what you are actually taking into your body. So that's where some of the leakage comes in. Yes, Doc.
Now, doctor, what's
Yes.
your reaction to
Mhm.
people who say that um, if they can boil the bushmeat
Mm.
to a certain temperature, it will
Yes.
actually be safe for consumption? What's your reaction to
Uh,
that?
that's a nice question. You see, Doc, what usually happens is that there are certain organisms. One of the organisms is a bacterial organism. I'll give you Clostridium botulinum. This Clostridium botulinum, it is present a lot in the environment, even in the soils, the decomposing leaves. Now, the first answer I'll give you is that you need to be careful because that meat, once you boil it and there is Clostridium, if because this bacteria it grows in what we call non-oxygenated environments or anaerobic. When the animal dies, like I've said, it will undergo certain processes. The first process is what we call the fresh decomposition. When the animal is decomposing, you'll find that it loses the oxygen. And which bacteria comes up very fast? The same Clostridium botulinum. That bacteria, in the absence of oxygen, it grows up what we call the vegetative form. Immediately, the meat is cut. Do you know what that bacteria does? It sporulates. Sporulation means it forms a very hard covering, a spore, a cyst on top. But this cyst has got different layers. Now, this cyst or the bacteria which has changed from a vegetative, the vegetative form, once you boil, you can destroy it. But this is the information I want the people to know.
Yeah.
For Clostridium botulinum, you put it in a pot, and this, like I've said, we do research. It has been researched that you can boil the meat at 100 degrees Celsius. Eh? For up to, it has been discovered that you can boil for 14 hours.
Mm.
After 14 hours, eh, you go and get that meat, you culture. That Clostridium botulinum will still grow. Why is it like that? Because it had formed a very resistant spore. These spores are very resistant. The only way you need to boil at a higher pressure, where you rise at 121 degrees Celsius and above. But all of us, we
Mm.
know our pots, our boiling is just about 100 degrees Celsius. So that myth to say when you boil, yes, the truth is that some of the bacteria will die, but some very resistant bacteria, once they sporulate, like Clostridium botulinum, it will still be there. Actually, boiling it doesn't even destroy it. So, like 14 hours, it means, let's say you start at 6 o'clock. If you had 14 hours, you might be boiling it up to 19 hours. That's 14 hours of boiling. 6 o'clock in the morning up to 19, which is 7 p.m. at night. Now, how many people boil the meat? What usually happens is that the meat might become like porridge. You might not want to consume that, but the bacteria will still be there in the sporulated form, the spore form, and that's where the danger comes in. So
I see.
that myth, doesn't hold water, especially
Right.
when you are dealing with such resistant bacteria. Yes, Doc.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, maybe this is for me. This is just a follow up to what you just said.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, let's take bushmeat that has been properly processed. How then do you make it safe from such bacteria?
Exactly. Um, there's one thing I said how this bacteria comes in. The question which comes in is like this. You are saying there's this Clostridium botulinum. It's everywhere. Why are we not getting sick from this? Because it produces a very potent neurotoxin, one of the most potent neurotoxin known to man, produced by this same bacteria. Now, you go hunting, dog. You go hunting. You are with your hunters. You shoot the animal, dog. Once you shoot it, the first thing you do, you breed it, the blood comes out, then you process it. You can even roast it or you sun dry, whatever way you want. That process itself, you know what you have done? You have not made the conditions favorable for the bacteria. You have not made conditions favorable for that dangerous bacteria. To make the conditions favorable is where people snare the animal. It is there for 2 or 3 days because sometimes it takes even a day or two. They haven't yet collected that meat. What usually happens is that, like it will go under these three main processes. There is what we call algomotis when it's cooling down, and once it cools down and loses the oxygen, it goes into levomotis. The levomotis is where you see, you look at the body like a drum of water. Once you put a drum of water, what does the water do? It gravitates downwards. The same with the blood. The blood gravitates to lower body parts where it is seated. But the danger is that as the blood gravitates, there is accumulation of these other bacteria, the toxins, the loss of oxygen. Now, those are the conditions which create the bacteria. You have given it now impotence to expand in the body tissues. But if you process it the way we've said that you process it immediately once you slaughter the animal, you remove the blood, you haven't created the conditions which will make that bacteria present. So that is what we call the safety of processing. But these people who bring illegal meat, because like I've said, once it's an illegal meat, it's a crime scene, a moving crime scene from the way it is processed to where it's being sold. So that is how you are going to differentiate, and that's how you are making your meat safer because it is legal. You are not going to be scared. You process it nicely, following the requirements of normal meat processing. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now, so
Uh-huh.
apart from the fact that I know we've really emphasized on the issue of diseases linked to illegal bushmeat and things like that, is there any other reason other than diseases that you would give to people so that they can avoid this issue of consumption of illegal bushmeat? Apart from diseases, what other reasons would you give?
Yes, there are quite a number of reasons. You see, one issue uh, which is key, everyone is talking about in our country's economic expansion and public health preservation. These two go hand in hand. There are a lot of people who are now into game ranching because of a lot of illegal uh, bushmeat trade, illegal game meat. These people have really cried. They've
Mhm.
really cried because there is a heavy poaching outside there. The poaching is not easy. I've I know of colleagues who have tried to set up game ranches. Others have closed because of the illegal game meat. That's one of the disadvantages. Then, if you go to wildlife police officers, our gallant men and women in uniform who are able to preserve, especially in the national parks, what we call in situ, because the national park is in situ conservation. The outside is what we call ex situ, these who have ranches. Now, the in situ, we've got our men who are actually losing lives trying to protect these resources. This is another sad aspect about illegal government. Our men and women in uniform have lost lives, and like I've said, another issue which you might not know, Doc, is what we call disappearance of certain species. There are certain species of animals which we call keystone species. When you've got a keystone species, like in a certain locality, once that species is pushed to extinction or it's reduced certain numbers to a certain carrying capacity, it is going to imbalance what we call the ecological balance. I'll give you hippos. They are very key in opening certain rivers, the weeds down there, in increasing the fish levels. Once you remove the hippos, you'll find that those rivers get clogged, the fish species disappear, and you are going to have other ecological aspects. Silt, the water changes, and also some form of waterborne diseases will increase. Why? Because you have removed an ecological balance. These are things outside the disease aspect which occur due to illegal bush trade. Yes, I can just summarize them in that. Apart from the threat which it causes in public health and also the economic losses which occur because of these activities. Yes, Doc.
Right. Thank you, Doc. As we come to the close of this conversation, Doctor,
Yes, Doc.
what would be your recommendation to our listeners or the people who are watching us and the public in general?
Yes,
What
Doc.
should they do? Should they suspect that they have come across illegal bushmeat?
Thank you for that question. The first important thing is that once they know that they've come across illegal garments, the key is to inform the authorities. Our wildlife police officers, as they are outside there, they are trying to stop this. But you find that that is part of the information which we need to feed our authorities. We need to report because you will be saving a life, and you might also be saving an economy, and you might be saving also other indigenous people who are trying to go into this game ranch business. Like I've said, a lot of our people who have gone into this, a lot of game meat which is illegal obtained is coming from game ranches, from fellow blacks who are trying to, because sometimes they're just starting, they don't know what is going to find. You bring 3 4 species, the following week all the species are wiped out by poaching, and that's illegal game meat. And that's like I've said, that is already a moving or a mobile crime scene from wherever the meat is. Even if it reaches your table, it reaches a restaurant, you are dealing with an illegality. If the law comes and finds you there, you will be an accessory or an accomplice, you might be arrested. So you should be very sure that you are being exposed to a legally processed meat or a legal meal, not an illegally obtained meal. Because as you are dining at that illegally obtained meal, you might also find yourself being visited by the law, because the law is blind to how you find yourself obtaining that. So that's one of the key information I would like to inform the listeners. They need to report and avoid getting themselves entangled with illegal government. Yes, Doc.
Right. Doctor, we would like to thank you very much for taking time off your very busy schedule
Yeah. Yes, Doc.
to, to be able to be with us.
Yes, Doc.
I know you're out of town, but
Yes, I'm out
we
of
wish
town.
you safe travel. But
Okay,
in,
thank
in
you.
closing, in
Uh-huh.
closing, what's your
Yes, Doc.
take-home message? If we should
Uh-huh.
forget everything you have said, what should we
Uh-huh.
remember in closing?
The main issue which I can urge people to know that illegal government is a crime scene. Wherever it obtains, wherever you are, and you find yourself in possession of illegal game meat. Know that you are also an accomplice, an accessory to a crime scene. So that is the most important message I need to inform the people. And apart from that, the public health implication in terms of diseases which they're exposing themselves to cannot be overemphasized. Additionally, they are not really sure what kind of game meat they are eating because it is illegal. They are being exposed to anything. So that is my message. Yes, Doc.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Doctor. I hope when we call you next time, you also make yourself available. And thanks so much for being with us
I
today.
will. Thank you very
Right.
much, Doc.
We'll
Have a
definitely
blessed
call on
day.
you again. Do take care.
Anytime.
Right. So there you have it. We were hosting Dr. Musa Muyeme, and he was very emphatic on the issues of zoonotic diseases. And like you heard, he's a researcher and also a lecturer in the University of Zambia's School of Veterinary Medicine. And who is better placed to tell us about these issues other than him? Now, here's the issue. The point here is that you do have places where you can get legal bushmeat. Legal, properly processed, and safe. I think let's also add the word safe to this conversation. That there are places where you can obtain legal and safe bushmeat. If you are unsure, just scroll down on this page. We do have outlets that we had also given you where you can obtain legal and safe bushmeat. Stay away from illegal bushmeat because illegal bushmeat is not safe, like you heard the doctor emphasize. And of course, bushmeat is very tasty, but be safe as you eat it. That said, until next time, do take care. Enjoy your lunch.